Hey y'all, so I am out in the garage apartment and I am getting ready to repot my Thai Constellation Monstera. I've had a number of questions about indoor house plants and I'm not ready to do a full tour of the indoor plants just yet. I have some things like the Stephanie erecta and some other similar plants that are dormant right now for the winter. So in the spring, when those start putting on some growth, I will share a complete houseplant home tour. But in the meantime, while I was repotting this Thai Constellation Monstera, I thought I would take you guys along, share some facts about it. I got this Thai Monstera probably, I would say I don't know, 6 months ago-ish. And it is putting on its first leaf with fenestration, first leaf altogether, and then first leaf, and it has a fenestration. So I'm super excited about that. But Thai constellations at a certain point were a pretty rare plant, not quite so much anymore, but they still are a little more expensive. They're going down in price. And when I got this one 6 months ago, it was relatively small because I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on a really large plant. Like, for perspective, there is a garden center around here that has I don't know, maybe it's a 10-gallon Thai Monstera, and I think at one point they were asking $800 for it. So it's a little bit crazy. I paid $35 for this one to give you perspective. They're out there a lot on Facebook Marketplace. Some of the garden centers are also starting to carry them. So look around if you want to find one that's reasonably priced. It might not be very big, but that's the fun in growing things. So let me just get flipped around. I'll show you what I've got going on down here, and then I'll share some Thai constellation facts with you guys. Okay, so here's what I am working with. So here is the Thai Monstera. You can see the variegation. It's really pretty, but you can also see this sunburn that it has right here. It also has some right here. So when I bought this, it was in a really harsh south-facing window. And if you have variegated Thai Monsteras in a direct light situation, the variegation portions of that plant are likely to burn. So I do need to cut this off, and I'll cut it off just for aesthetics here once we get it repotted. But you can see the really pretty variegation in this plant. And you might ask, why Thai constellations? So Thai constellations are similar to Thai albos. And for those of you that don't know, those are both types of variegated Monstera, but Thai constellations are much more stable with their variegation. So you're certain to get good variegation every time a new leaf forms. Unlike albos, where their variegation isn't near as stable, you may get leaves that are solid white or solid green or a good variegation mix. You really just never know. So Thai constellations are much more reliable as far as their variegation goes. So here is the new leaf. You can see there the fenestration right there. I'm really excited. This leaf has been unfurling for like 2 weeks now. I feel like it takes them a while. They're relatively slow growers. And once this starts to put on a little bit more growth, I will be adding a sphagnum moss pole, because in the wild, these are climbers. They have aerial roots. And so you'll want to give it something to climb on. And if you have something with sphagnum moss on it, it kind of replicates its natural habitat as close as you can. So this is a plant that I put in a indirect lighting situation. I have it in our fireplace room. It's a north-facing window, but that room also has a west-facing window. So it gets a lot of great indirect sunlight. And then here is a pot that I'll be reusing to upsize. It might not look much bigger to you than the white pot that it's currently in, but it is a little bit bigger. And then I bought this planter off of Facebook Marketplace. I thought it was cool. It's got some gilt on it. It's just got some really pretty pictures on it. So I love the brass lions. So I picked this up off Facebook Marketplace, and I thought that the Thai Constellation Monstera would be the perfect thing to put into it. I still need to find any of you that are local that know of any really great vintage or antique plant stands. Hit me up. I'm looking for a great one. I have been looking for some time and just haven't found anything. So I save old containers just so that I don't have to buy new ones, and I can simply use these to upsize, because all my indoor plants are in some sort of decorative container like this one, and they work just fine. So in here you can see that I have a saucer in the bottom. I'll put this in here. I'll put some things around the edge to center it. I'll get some soil put in that pot, and then I'll get some top dressing put over it. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I will speed this process up just a little bit and then come back at the end and show you what everything looks like and explain it thoroughly. So let's get started. So something else that I should mention before we get started is Thai constellations can easily be overwatered. It's best to lend on the side of a little bit dry than too moist. And so that brings me to my next point. So I am upsizing this so that it will fit in this decorative pot, but you don't want to upsize the container too much just to make it fit in a decorative pot. You might try a smaller decorative pot first, and then as the plant grows and you're able to upsize, you might try that. Because what will happen if I upsize this pot too much and the soil to root ratio is too far off, you can easily overwater plants. So you really should only go up like a pot size at a time if you can help it. And this one is just slightly bigger than this white one right here, so we should be fine. I don't expect for this to be root bound at all, but we'll see what it looks like when we get it out of this container. Okay, so I just made a huge mess, but you can see that I pretty much just slid the plant from this pot into this pot. So we're not talking that much bigger as far as pot size goes, but I did put some new fresh soil at the bottom that has some good nutrients in it, so that will be helpful to this plant as well. All right, so now I'm gonna get this pot centered. So I keep a lot of foam and random things like that to one, put on the bottom of decorative containers in case my pot that the plant is in is too short. Sometimes I have Tommy cut me a block of wood, and sometimes it fits perfect. But there's always a plastic saucer in the bottom, and then I just use random materials that I save from getting shipments of things to kind of bump things up and keep them centered within the pots. Okay, so you can see that that's relatively more centered. Now I'm going to go in with the top dressing. So this is the dressing that I'm going to put over this. This is a moss-like material. Let's see if I can get this to focus. I would prefer a sphagnum moss look, and our local garden center does sell a lot of different mosses like this in different colors and funky colors and natural colors and things like that. So check your local garden center if you're looking for something like this. Like I said, I would prefer a pretty sphagnum moss, but I don't have any on hand, so we're gonna go ahead and use this. I use this top dressing a lot in my darker pots. It makes the dressing stand out from the planter itself. All right, so this is the final product. I still need to get these burnt portions cut off, but this is the final product. And something else to keep in mind when you are top dressing your plants, when maybe you haven't top dressed your plants previously, is that it will help with moisture retention, so you'll have to water less. So just keep that in mind so you're not overwatering your plants. But this top dressing is probably going to change. I really don't like it with this pot. I think a green sphagnum moss would look just so much better. So I'll get that changed out at some point, but for the time being, at least it looks way more finished than it did before in the white container. So that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this short video with a few things that you may or may not have known about Thai Constellation Monsteras. So until I see you guys next time, thank you so much for watching. I would so appreciate it if you would like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye.